Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce on what is this round 18. Mate, I tell you what, it is me just rolling solo today. I don't know how many people are going to be watching. I don't know how long I'm going to stream for, but just wanted to jump on, say hello, keep the tradition of our Monday night live streams going. Mate, it is carnage at the moment. We now have five people. Woo. It is now carnage at the moment. Horn Francis injured. Cherry suspended. Rosie at least out for a week. Nick Martin ACL. Caldwell out. Few of our rookies going out as well. It is rubbish at the moment. There is so many bloody injuries. It is rough. It is rough. So, yeah, it's an interesting time for Supercoach land. Hopefully you guys did well in your tips. If you want, post down below. If you guys want, I'm more than happy to post up the invite guests link. If you guys would love to jump on and just say hello for 5 minutes, we'll see how we go. Yeah. And then we'll go from there. I'm still sick, so we'll see how long that lasts for me as well. Maybe start with the medication already. Bailey, how you doing, Bailey? Hope everything's going well, mate. Yeah. It is a fun one. Joe's off doing Fancast. Big J's here holding down the fort. Maybe I'll ask Joe, hey, Joe, drop me on Fancast next week. This could be the last Monday for a little while, but we'll see how we go. How about Josh Dacos? Mate, Josh Dacos is a freak. He is an absolute freak. Now, I can kind of pinpoint where my team decided to fall down in terms of scoring, in terms of ranking. We were doing all right for a very long period of time there. We got up to rank 260. Mate, it was a fun time. Let's hopefully StreamYard works for me. I don't know why it's being funny. Let me go. Now, Josh Dacos. How about that? How about that? Similar to Butters, where, at least for the most part of the game, Josh Dacos is the only one that actually scored in Supercoach for Collingwood, which is hilarious. I mean, Darcy Cameron 89, okay. In the realm of Supercoach where, you know, both of the rucks kind of faltered. Grundy went massive again. Congratulations if you have him. Josh Dacos, mate, very, very good player. I'm sad that I let him go. And ever since I let him go, he has punished me again and again and again. It is what it is. It is just thoughts coming into next season. Pre-planning a little bit, which is a big thing. Figuring out who I want to bring in, who I don't want to bring in. Just pricing for a lot of guys too. Like you could have got Josh Dacos at, I think I spent $450K, close to $500K for him. You could have got Matt Rowell at $440, and look, you got a 156. Noah Anderson, a couple of weeks ago, was $520K, popped out another 140. So, yeah, just how it works with Supercoach, unfortunately. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you hold your breath and, hey, I'm waiting until the season's finished. So that's kind of me at the moment, but it is what it is, and we just have fun. Bailey, 26. Mate, you beat me this week, and this is the sad thing. I'll do my team review a bit later, but this is the sad thing. You beat me by 457 points this week. That's how bad my team is going. I doubled in rank. Like, didn't double up. I actually went backwards double in rank this week. It was rough. Yeah, I had Cherry captain, so there's like, you know, if I had Bonsins over Cherry, would have been an extra 120 points. Cool. It's something, right? Had Cherry captain, didn't change it over. Bit silly. It's happened. So, unfortunately, no trades and got Horn problem. Lucky the switch to Gorn Grundy. Yep, definitely. You could have gone Marshall. You could have gone for a few things. Would have been okay, but definitely no Cherry. Hopefully, Bailey, you've got some bench cover, and then you can kind of limp through the next little while, which would be cool. Failed this week, Rosie captain. Yeah, Rosie, another one on the list, as I was saying, missing out at least on this week, but we'll see what happens with him. Maybe going to be 1 week injury. We'll see what happens. Horn Francis out for the year. There you go. So this week in Supercoach, Luke Trainer won Rising Star. So congratulations to him. Some massive scorers in Supercoach. If you don't have Josh Dacos, I wouldn't hate it. But if we quickly look down the list, there is just some big scorers in general. George Hewitt went massive, punishing those people that still have Chera like myself, just due to poor trading and whatnot. Chera was definitely the loser of the week with the 75 alongside a couple of others. But at the moment, he's a must trade. Should have done it a couple of weeks ago. Matt Rowell, Josh Dacos went big. Bontum Smelly, 174. Very, very good. Nice for those people that had Ed Richards too. The bounce back from him suggested to a few people that Libba was a good selection this week. So 126. You're happy. Jordan Dawson went big. Riley Thilthorpe went big as well. Heading over to GWS. Cadman has now signed for 4 years. So that's something for him. No one really big, but nice to see Whitfield come back from the dead. I think he was on, correct me if I'm wrong, he was on something like 15 points at quarter time or something, and people just weren't happy. They were like, mate, we're stuck. There you go. Heading over to Geelong. I think next year, we'll see what the buy rounds are going to be like. But I think next year I'm not going to be scared away as much by the buy rounds. I avoided someone like a Tom Stewart. Now, he did spend a week off. So, cool. It's kind of not hurt me as much. But, yeah, avoided someone like a Tom Stewart, who was at 400K at one point. Since being 400K, 1 second. This is why FootyWire is still the GOAT. So, since being 400K around then, basically here after round 10, because he came back, since round 10, 98, 103, 111, 109, 118, had the buy round off, 72, and then the 132. So, it would have been very, very good. If not, D6, very, very good bench cover. I think next year we look to bring in a lot more midfielders. Start off with a lot more mid-rookies, depending on what it is, and then go from there. So, yeah, could end up with a Tom Stewart and Matt Rowell and a few others. But like Supercoach in general, like everything, it is the cash gen, which is king. Quick run through for the rest of the games. Now, this game here, Bombers versus Tigers, mate, was almost one of the most depressing games of Supercoach and just football in general. Saw some comparisons, guys, to AFLW this week with these two games. A lot of fans saying, hey, we don't like AFLW, they don't score enough points. Well, Essendon went 4-13 this week. It was not fun, but it's happened. Mate, it is a rough one for them. So, big winners and losers from this, obviously. Richmond in general, they scored 6 goals to 4 goals. So that's something there. Taranto went big, kind of showing why Richmond paid up as much as they did for him, just the age profile as well. Nank with the 132. So if you're a pod owner of Nank versus Grundy versus Gorn, I think, versus TDK and a few others, yeah, very, very happy with him. Heading over to Essendon, no one really. Zach Merritt did not back up the 150 that he scored last week. So a bit rough for him, but it is what it is. I think at points he was double teamed, then got stuck forward. Zach Merritt with the 82% game time as well, so relatively low for him. And then only the 61% disposal efficiency. So they took him down. They did exactly what they needed to. We knew this was going to happen with Caldwell out. It's another person through that midfield that stopped Zach Merritt getting squashed. Doesn't help that Setterfield was out as well. So, mate, they've got more and more and more injuries. Nick Martin, not a great one. Hopefully you guys don't have Nick Martin. Heading over, we've got 4 more games, and then we jump to your questions. And then we'll have a look at some AFLW. Jordan Clark, big, cool. Very up, very down with Jordan Clark. Brayshaw, 121. Mate, did you guys see that blood coming out his head? I was getting Andrew Gaff vibes with Andrew Brayshaw. It's not great. Sarong didn't go well. Shai Bolton, happy with him, I guess, in our forward line, just kind of creeping along. And sucks for those people that are paid so much for Lukey Jackson. When Darcy goes average, Luke Jackson goes average, unfortunately. You really need Darcy to have a shit game for Jackson to do well. Lloyd Meek, super underrated, 151. There you go. Ginnivan, this is one that I didn't think I would see, but I don't know if his role has changed a little bit. Let me just quickly see. So a bit of everywhere, a lot on the wing. Maybe just saw a lot of the ball, but he just came scoring out of nowhere. So there you go, 114. Sicily with the 114 as well. Not too bad. Heading over to North Melbourne. Job Shanahan. Love Job Shanahan. Heading over to Melbourne. Now, I'm hoping that Tristan Cherry, we can test it. Because North Melbourne, excuse me, North Melbourne does not have a good history of contesting things at the tribunal. We do not. We do not like it at all. We are not happy. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen often enough. And yeah, it's not great. So hopefully we can test it. There's a lot of footage coming out at the moment. Hey, he didn't put his hand out. He didn't put his arm out as much. Went to grab him as a tackle. Simpkin got pushed by Salem, which pushed the player into Cherry. You know, you can kind of see the differential there. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of leeway. It's either off or not. So we need some good Carlton lawyers there. A lot of people complaining about the likes of Christian Petrarca as well. 58 disposal efficiency is not great for what we paid for him. 31 disposals of shit. But it is what it is. It's a bad day when Oliver outscores a bunch of your primos too. Heading over to North Melbourne. Harry Sheezel in the middle. Look at that. Now, that's the reason why Harry Sheezel is the GOAT. And why it's good when he's in the middle. Because we're a little bit more competitive. Colby McKercher, if you're one of those people that brought him in at 330k, like I did myself, you'd be very, very happy. At least it's a primo. If you sold Caleb Daniel, there's a lot of North fans that are not happy with Caleb Daniel. So hopefully he's not dropped over the next few weeks, but still did very well, taking majority kickouts as well. So there you go with him. Let me quickly check. St Kilda, Sydney. Winhager, not that anyone's got him in Supercoach, but 152. Jack Steele, 132. Very, very good there. Jack McRae, if you guys had brought him in a few weeks ago, let me quickly check when he was very cheap. Geelong. St Kilda. Jackson. What a name, Jackson. Yeah. So if you guys had brought him in as, round 14 when he came back from injury, 87, 131, 91, 116, 108. So I think you'd be very happy. If he's forward eligible next year, we will start him again. So there you go. Probably alongside Horn Francis as well. But I don't know about Horn Francis, man. These leg injuries are not fun. Heading over to Sydney, 154 from Brodie Grundy. If you had brought him in a few weeks ago, especially for the Max Gawn trade, you'd be extremely happy. I think that's basically his Supercoach average at the moment is 154. So I think they play North Melbourne this week, and we may not have Cherry. So it could be Brodie Grundy 200 very, very easily. No one's got Rowbottom. No one's got Hayward. Sheldrick would have been exceptionally awesome if you had brought him in. He's got a 93 off 67% game time. Now, if this guy's 300, he won't be 300k, but if he was 300k next year, we could be very much enticed to bring him into our teams. Errol Goulden, 92. Matt Roberts, 89, whatever. Where is Warner, 84, so not great there. The big one that hurts a lot of us is Callum Mills, 55. AFLF now. Last week came out with the 100 plus. This week did not. Seems to be like the heat map's not bad, but just poor scoring, I guess. Not great there. And last one here before I jump to the comments. Thanks everyone for taking time out. Zachy Butters, the one that I don't have, which really hurts, alongside a few other players. Could have got him at 530. I think 550, and you'd be very, very happy with what he's been able to do. I think he was on 80 to 90 Supercoach, and everyone else was on 30. So really just shows the difference there. He just didn't let up, which is something that does happen with this kind of scoring. Horn Francis, 131, you'd be very happy. Now he's out for the rest of the season. So we're not happy. Heading down the list, no one else is really relevant. Mammy Liddy, 65, okay. A few of us have him as coverage. Hugh Jackson not backing up his 200 from last week. And then Connor Rosie, which is the big one, Mr. Dislocated Finger. So seems to have avoided surgery, which is great. But it's a rough one for those people that have him, at least a week off. Heading over to West Coast, no one's really relevant. Tom McCarthy, if you have him outside of being bench cover, I think you're okay. Clay Hall with the 85, good enough Caldwell cover. Nice to see a few of these younger guys from West Coast actually delivering, and they were almost beating Port, which is crazy. So there we go, fellas. There we go. Jumping into your questions and your comments. So we've done Bailey. There you go. Initiator. How you doing, mate? Failed this week. Rosie captain. Now, I had Cherry captain. So there you go. I beat you by 2 points. But it wasn't great for either of us. Jenna. How you doing, Jenna? Horn Francis done for the year. There you go. Frankie. How you going, mate? 24.30 down to 6.42 this week. Cherry and Martin 2 trades left. We'll end up with 0 trades. There you go. And the big thing is, pick your players that have the durability, Frankie. Pick those players as much as you can. You may have to grab a Witz. You may have to grab a Briggs. You may have to do something else. But try not to get the injury-prone players, because you would hate to be one of these people that brings in a Nick Martin or someone else, and then they just get injured, and then you're stuck like me, which is not great. Corey scored a 22-11 this week. Kennedy had to count me. Yeah, and Kennedy was one that I missed. The one that just went big the one that didn't go big that I have in my team was Matt Kennedy. Had Rosie captain, Cherry, no Bont, and Butters for the year. 2 trades, maybe done for the season. That's all right. Chose Pickett over Whitfield and Myers this week. Okay. Initiator was predicted at 2,700. Ended up with 2,360, mate. I've seen that before. Dropped back 3K. Yeah. And this is the big thing too. Grundy's run home was fantastic. But no Cherry this week if it does happen. Boy, oh boy. It rucks. It sucks. Who do you think will cover us? Big J in the ruck. Will CCG come back? Will they debut Godey? Look, we can have a bit of a sneaky look, Bailey. I have a feeling they'll play Teakle. That's my feeling. How did North do? Where are we? Did we not play last week? Surely not. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling Teakle time as well. So in the VFL, we try and mirror at least what we can with the AFL. Hit-outs wise. Goad was there. Coleman Jones was there. I do think we'll start playing Teakle, though. Coleman Jones could come back. If Larky's out again this week, they may try and shake things up a little bit and give CCJ the run. Unfortunately, he was sick last week, so maybe that puts him off a little bit. I do think they'll play Teakle, though. He obviously didn't ruck much in this game. but he's probably our biggest mature body outside of a cherry in the ruck position that isn't perpetually injured. So I have a feeling that they will play him. In any essence, jump on Grundy if you can. How much is Grundy these days? Boy, oh boy. Sydney. St Kilda. Sydney. Brody Grundy will be hella expensive, but he's well worth it this week. 737k. Probably don't jump on Brody Grundy, but boy oh boy, if you had grabbed him like here, or even here, or even here, when a lot of us were trading out Max Gawn, 109 black. It is very, very good. So I think he'll do very well against him. Initiator, what happened with Kennedy? Now, we'll have a bit of a look. I think Kennedy was just shit, to be honest. Just shit. Played a bit of everywhere, looks like. Had a little bit less in terms of game time. But from memory, he just didn't get the ball. He was kind of just relegated to the midfield. And unfortunately, when you've got someone like a Bontempelli going as big as what he did, taking all of the ball, doing everything, like even guys like Frazier didn't do well. Rory Lobb, I don't care too much about him. A few of the others didn't do well. Kennedy just sucked. There you go. Could North play Goad and Teakle if Larky's still out? Yep, we could. Kennedy played forward role and wing this week. Well, there you go. He didn't get his normal CBAs. Didn't get his normal. We can check DFS. 1 second. Can just check some DFS and see what it was like as well. Not Cam McCarthy. So this was his game. CBA is 34. So every other game over 50 basically, hence the half decent scoring. This week, 34 CBAs. Heat map still has him. What was that? Defensive. So he got no mid time, really. Just wing. And then forward 50 and then forward, half forward. It's kind of the orange. So, yeah, bit of a rough one there. Guys, keep up your comments. Let's have a bit of a play with AFLW. Now, if you guys haven't already, chucked in the link in here. We will be doing AFLW the entire season. It's a good time to have a play around with the team. Even if you don't know a lot of the players, it's okay. I don't know a lot of the players, so we're kind of just running and doing it as we go. I did do okay last year, though. And if you guys haven't seen, last year was 2024, obviously. We didn't get the W, but 2023, I don't know if you guys can see, I did get AFLW hat. I was ranked 39. So there you go, 39th. I don't know if you guys can see. So I will wear Mr. AFLW hat and we'll see what we can do with the team. But yeah, if you guys are playing along, chuck in your Supercoach questions as well. Probably be here for another half an hour or so, but it's more just derived by you guys. Hey, if you guys, want to have a chat, if you guys want to do whatever, just let me know. No Kai today. He's very busy. Pretty chill. Now, talking AFLW, the best thing is you don't need to know a lot about the players. You can obviously check DFS and whatnot for everything. But here we go, Corey. There you go, Corey. Chuck it in. Let me know. Just Twitter me if you want as well. Cool. Yeah, send me on Twitter. Chuck me a link on Twitter, Corey. Yeah, basically, best thing to take into it with AFLW, unlike Supercoach, every week the player's value goes up or down depending on how well they score. We can do 3 trades every week, which is huge. Obviously, the team sizes are different. 15.5 million 21 players, so it averages out if we have a bit of a sneaky look. So 15. What are we doing there? We're not working for me. 15.5 divided by 21 equals, so about 730k per player. So there you go. Yeah, the big thing that I'll take away from this game heading into the new year and the new season is pay up for who you want to pay up for, because the difference between players and levels of scoring is just that big. We see Marinoff here plays for Adelaide, best player in the game. We'll see, but definitely the highest scorer in fantasy. If we then look at, so she averaged a 145. If we have a look at some of the other players, let's say Jazzy Garner, 112, second best player. Head over to here. Hey, the best defender was on the 82. The best ruck, I think, was 112, so comparable to a mid. But the best forward as well wasn't great. So, yeah. Can I change team name? I think so. I think so. Cool. And, yeah, there you go. So, something to look out for. Let's have a bit of a play around with the teams and everything. Tried AFLW last year, still didn't know anyone. Still don't know anyone. There you go. Hello, me and you both. Did you see Jazzy got our captaincy this year? Yep, Emma Carney has stepped away. Jazzy Garner, who filled in for Carney when she was away at periods last year, has now become the captain. So there you go. I 100% would advise you guys, if you want to, stack the mids as much as you can. Grab the most expensive players as you can. 3 trades every week allows you to do some funky stuff, but it is very hard to, let's say, grab a Marinoff, because you're basically paying up 3 extremely good, expensive players to actually get her. Because the minute, unlike Supercoach, right, where you might have a 300k rookie, and you can offload them for 200k, cool. In AFLW fantasy, minimum price is 300k, and you're generally not paying that. Because of the players going up every week, you're rarely going to find an on-the-bubble rookie or just a rookie in general, unless they're automatically named at that super cheap price. So start the best you can go. There we go. We'll make a bit of a team and we'll see how we do. Unfortunately, we can't actually search by percentage owned. I don't believe. At least not for now. So display. Oh, we can. There you go. There you go. I don't think that's true in essence just yet. Average points. There we go. So just checking out the fixture as well is a huge thing. AFLW fantasy is very contested. So players that generally get a lot of tackles will do well. Similar to Supercoach, those that ruck and solo ruck do very well as well. And then those that take kickouts and have designated positions on field are very, very good too. So Corey has been very nice and provided us with Jaden Poposki, friend of the channel. He has done up similar to DFS, but having a look at players and their run and things like that, what their totals are going to be. We have a squiz. Yeah, cool. So defenders, Brisbane defenders are the best. Look at their run. Round 1, not so good. Freo, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty easy to do. Maybe I'll link this down in the comments too. So if you guys want to have a sneaky look, I will bookmark as well. Midfielders. So jump on Marinoff early, even though she is still incredibly expensive. 15.5 million. Yep. One player is 1.8. And her first 3 games, at least by last year, look very, very good. So it would be a shame not to have her early, unfortunately. That is Ebony Marinoff. She is a beast. She's very, very good. She's just very, very good. So chuck her in your team if you want her or not. She takes up basically 10% of the cash in your team, but could definitely be worth it. She may, and the thing with scoring, right, is I don't know if we can check AFLW scoring. Can we check AFLW scoring? Being a fantasy game, they may have it. Let's have a bit of a squiz. Let me know, Corey, too. Last year, they had double up games. So players could have like 2 games that week, and then you get the average of those 2. This year, it's just everyone playing each week. So something not to worry about too much. Come on, game. Those stats. But you have a look. Like, she's scoring 121s. Hatchard's another one scoring very big. And then, like, the next best Port Adelaide players on the 80. So the difference in points is huge. It's like having Zach Butters and then, like, a Caldwell. Or Zach Butters and Adam Chera. And the comparison initiator between those kind of 2 players. Butters, at certain points, could go... wasn't it? She got 191. Well, let's have a look. Fixture from last year. Yeah, it's kind of Adam Chera versus Zach Butters. Like, Butters may have games where he goes tiny, but yeah, otherwise it is massive. It is massive. So, I think this year. Check out last year. So the good players are worth it. Marinoff is like a cherry, but as a mid. Marinoff is like a Bontempelli on fire. I wouldn't even call her that. I would say like even more. So, where is the game? You reckon it's the St Kilda game? Surely not. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying, right? Is she'll go 170s. You don't want to be the person that doesn't have Marinoff when we're picking captains every week. And your opponent and just other people in general just don't have her. So kind of the difference level in scoring. Now, Caitlin Gould's a forward, but she's like the second best forward. She is effectively double the price in the game of a Marinoff. But if you look at the level of scoring, then you can really see the difference. Tackles are king, as we see here. Definitely tackles are king. But just kind of how the game works. We'll go through it, and they'll play a few practice games and stuff like that, and we'll have a look at some stats and whatnot. But yeah, just kind of he is 600k more expensive than the next one, for a reason. Is all I'm going to say. Like 400k more than Jazzy Garner, but could potentially be worth it. Now, she could have a couple of bad games where she drops down in price. It happened before last year. I think she got to 1.4 million, but it will never be like a Lockie Neal getting to 500k starting at 700. She's just too good to be able to do it. Bearded Ram, how you doing, mate? What are your thoughts on Cooper Harvey keeping his spot for the rest of the year? Look, I think that game, kicking 4 goals, kept Cooper Harvey in a contract. Is as rough as it is to say, I think that kept him in a contract this year. Kept him in a contract, basically. So he could keep his spot for the entire year. It's more just about when Larky comes back, what's the forward line makeup going to look like? Because I don't think that we're going to run 3 talls in Finbar, Darling, and Larky at that point. I would love for him to keep his spot, though. What about Monique Conti now? Do they have DFS for AFLW? No. How do we do this? AFLW. Let's have a sneaky look. Players. Ooh, check this out, boys and girls. There you go. So, fantasy points for Conti. Look, the one problem with her this year and last year is you want more hundreds than 90s. It's probably the big thing. Erin Phillips retired. She's now doing commentary. I think she retired 2 years ago, maybe when I got my hat. There's better value than her this year. There we go. So we have a bit of a play around with the team. Maybe Corey and stuff can give me a bit of a run through and say, hey, good player or not. But I always try and stack the midfield as much as I can. Can I make a midfield team that is 5 primo mids? Is probably what I would love to look into, or at least get 3 plus a couple of values. So, Rowbottom from Gold Coast, similar to like a Matt Rowell, is the best player on the team. So generally with AFLW, similar to Supercoach, you rarely get a lot of good players, like multiples of the same, from the same team. Marinoff and Hatchard is one pairing. Garner and Riddell is another pairing. But a few of these teams have only got one. So Gold Coast with Rowbottom, best player in the league at her club. McCarthy, similar from Freo, though Bowers is back now after having her baby. So someone to look at at a cheaper price. Anderson at Brisbane, Gardner at Sydney as well, and then Conti at Richmond, but I don't think Richmond are going to be that good. Is Rowbottom related to the Sydney guy? So let's check it out. Yeah, sister. There you go, Velo. There you go. So, running off what Corey has said. Now, I'm not going to spoil his Supercoach team, his AFLW fantasy team, but if we look at Ash Shentra and Zippy Fish as rookies. So, let's chuck in Fish, midfielder, cool. Centra, midfielder, cool. Now, the flex are similar to the flex in Supercoach. You don't actually get points from the flex, I don't believe. But it gives you like an extra coverage. So you might have a midfielder here and then a midfielder here and be able to swap, or an extra forward and be able to trade out players and stuff. So it's only on field. Flex, I think, is a little bit different. Yeah, utility does not act as an emergency, but it's just like an extra coverage. So even if we start with Rucks first. Rucks. Now, Mimi Strom, similar to how Gawn and Grundy were with set and forget in previous years. Strom could be the one for us there. Now, one of the things to realize as well with AFLW fantasy is sometimes teams just bring on a rookie that does very well. O'Dowd was that player for us last year where I think she was like 330k and then end up, being a premium for the whole year. Scholes as well was a similar thing too. Poppy Kelly, I think that's Poppy Kelly. Yeah, Poppy Kelly was a similar thing too. So because they're mature age, they just get traded in from the state leagues, whatever, they'll do okay. So we may get some cheaper players down here. The strategy was, hey, at least in the past, maybe go cheap in the ruck, but that's only if they solo ruck. So a Fleur Davies, for example, has been kind of the kick-around player for a while. She always seems to do okay and then kind of fall off a little bit. Yes, Velo, 400k rookies. Yeah, that's AFLW fantasy for there you go. Montana McKinnon has the best run to start for rucks if she's healthy, the number one ruck. So Montana McKinnon, I think this is this one. So, yeah. Corey, who is a good cheap ruck as bench cover? Let me know. But Strom did very well. She is very pricey. A lot of people have jumped on Scholes. A lot of people picked Frederick as well last year, and she seems to dominate. But let's try. Let's try Strom. Murphy. Let me see. Cool. Done. Murphy's locked in. Easy. So 11 million to go. We've got 5 players out of 21. Something that I always like to do in Supercoach as well when I make my starting team is just keep an eye out for how much money we've got left. So if we have a bit of a look, so 5 minus 21. Cool. We need 16 more players. 11.04. That's right. 11.04. Divided by 16 is 690k. So the money's slowly going away, but we can fill it up with some extra rookies. So let's do that. Forwards, let's just grab cheapy forwards. I'm going to cheat a little bit, Corey, and just pull out some of your forwards here because you know what you're doing. Young in the forward line. You've gone Harris in the ruck, but that's okay. Zippy Fish is there. Centra. Apparently there's a player called Bacon who's pretty good. So there you go. And then the rest are probably the way we do it. So, yeah, bringing up the money a little bit more. And then it's just filling out the team, which is a big thing for us. So let's have a go at doing that. And then if we need to figure out the rest, we can fill out the rest. Now, kick-ins is a huge thing. Hopefully, where is DFS? That one. So midfielders, forwards, rucks, difficulty matchup values. There we go. Who has the best ruck run early is probably the big thing. So Essendon there, Melbourne there, West Coast, Freo. It's a little bit tough, but maybe Strong is good. Yes, she is. Too good from Essendon. Now, she's very good. Where is it? She was very good in previous years. The only problem is that she injured herself. Now, as we know from Supercoach, forward 50, defensive miss 50. she plays a lot of forward, plays a lot of mid. 100%. If you can get her price, she's probably undervalued by like 200-300. So let's chuck her in there. Too good in there. One that you guys 100% need is Zali Goldsworthy in the forward line. If we see from her last year, similar to Supercoach, right? We get a Horn, Francis, McRae, whatever, playing in the midfield, available as a forward. You jump on that as much as you can. Too good killed my top 100 chances. Yeah, same with me too, mate. Got rid of her pretty quick, though. Zali plays a lot of mid, like a lot. And she can kick goals, and she's very good. As Corey says here, Zali shouldn't have been a forward. She played 91% CBAs. So there you go. Chuck her in there. And then we kind of just go down the list. Gould did all right last year, but you see the difference in terms of scoring, right? I would rather pay up for the best midfielders that I can and then fill out the rest with guys who are going to go up in price than not. It's probably the big thing. It's a lot easier for me to get 900k to pay for a player than it is for me to not. And these guys in the middle, especially without the double up games, these guys in the middle are going to score so much more in terms of points and everything compared to everyone else. So I think from here, we want to grab Bowers, big old turbo. If we have a look at her scoring from previous years, Yara Bowers, we have a look at her scoring. So pumping out huge numbers, 142, 127, blah, blah, blah. Like huge numbers from 2 years ago. She would have played last year, but the baby kind of said no. So there you go. I think Corey as well, Prosparkas from Geelong is very cheap for what we can get. So we'll see how she goes as well. So that means 2 more mids. Maybe we'll drop Prosparkas if I can afford it. We'll see. Who else do I like the look of that I can just keep the entire year? Can always fall back on these North Melbourne players if we want to. Now I might drop Strong. Let's look at who says Rucks. Essendon Rucks are the best. Melbourne, Carlton, Adelaide, Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, at least for the early run. Adelaide's very good. Melbourne, very, very good. Port, not so good. Who's cheap in the ruck that I can offload Strom to? So I'd rather have another good mid. Yeah, well, it's like Supercoach, right? So imagine if Bontempelli missed out on this year and it was 650k, he might only go down to 580k. Kira Bowers, I don't know if it's going to show you her price, but Kira Bowers was like 1.5 million last year. So yeah, she's very, very good. She's very, very good, and was very expensive. Kate Hawes one as well. That kind of dropped off. Was only forward eligible. Now is stuck in the midfield. So if we go Scholes now, grab a mid. Who are we going to get? I really like Gardner. Gardner's my fave. But let's grab Anderson just for fun. Yeah. Let's see if we got any money left. We'll do that. So 4.6 million. I need 7 more players. It's a bit rough. We do have 2 really good players in here, and then a couple in here. Always just grab like some pretty cheapo players. I don't mind a Charlotte Thomas, who does well. Bowers was 1.4 million to start, and they get a 20% discount of 23 average. So there you go. Who else does a bit of kickouts? People talking a lot about Ella Heads from used to be. I think that's right, Corey. She used to be from Sydney and is now gone to Port. So we'll see how she goes. Who can I pinch from your team? Yeah, Ella Heads. Georgie Pound, another cheapo. 2 more, and then 3 more forwards. So in your defense, it's definitely the weakest spot in AFLW fantasy. So you don't have to pay up a lot for the players, is probably what I want to say. So if we just go, I'm going to steal from Corey, but we'll just do this. Cronin, and then cool. We need 3 players. We have 1.26, so probably at just under $1 million each. Let's go cheapo players. I think Teakle is the brother of North Melbourne player too. Hannah Ewings, 800k left. So let's have a bit of a look. Who can we afford? 800k. And it may be just putting one of these players around. And this is the tricky part of not actually knowing a lot of the players. Makes things a bit interesting. Corey, I need some help. I got 2 players. Pound will be good. No Peterson this year. Should gain kickouts. There you go. Nice work there. I have Goody and Wardlaw last year, I think. Are they good options? I think Wardlaw is actually really good. Let's try and chuck her in there. I think from memory, she actually did some kickouts too. I don't know if they're going to do... Does AFLW have... There you go, boys and girls. There you go. So, Bedell, Randall. So this is Adelaide. Bedell, Randall, Sarah Allen. So if we just check out the scoring, Chelsea Bedell took a lot of the scoring. Randall took a tiny bit of the kickouts. If we check out Brisbane, Brianna Cohen did as well, but didn't really get kickouts against North Melbourne because we won. Shannon Campbell and stuff as well. Carlton's a big one. So Gabby Pound definitely there. Corey saying Peterson is this year. She's not here anymore. So yeah, she'll be okay. Not Wardlaw had Window. Yeah, Window will be okay. But I think similar to Supercoach, right? You don't really start like a 300k Supercoach player. They're good for their starting year when they're cheap, and then you offload a. There you go. Peterson is pregnant. Fair enough. So Cordner could come in, but I think Gabby Pound may take a lot. Who does all the kick-ins for Cronin, who we just brought into our team? There we go. Should take a couple. Stacey Livingston could take a few. Things like that. Let's check out Essendon. Madison Gay is definitely one that you want in your team. She's just bloody expensive. There you go. Collingwood Freo. Ganlon. Laura Pooh is definitely one as well. A lot of us had her. O'Sullivan's moved out of the team. Maybe not moved out of the team, but not really selected. Scanlon could be the one. Essendon, Freo, Gold Coast. Daisy Darcy, there you go. Charlotte Wilson did well. Randall did well as well. Yeah. There you go. Livingston retired. So this is why we got Corey. We get Corey on for the AFLW show. What do you reckon, Corey? Jump on. You can be the roving reporter this year. Gay is overpriced. Only 3 scores over 82. There we go. Daisy Darcy, ACL, do not pick. There we go. And then so on and so on. So you'll be able to find that out. I think Ella Roberts did the best, though. Charlotte Thomas, so had majority there. Sydney. Ella Heads, who's now moved to Port, took mass kick-ins. So maybe Brianna Tarrant or Lucy McAvoy. I just need 2 players, Corey. Give me 2 forwards, Corey. 400k each. And then we're done. 2 forwards. 2 forwards. We'll see. I'll play around with the rest of the team. I do think, though, we need to cull one of these and upgrade like 3 players. So if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. But yeah, let's see. 3 to 390. Cool. Let's have a bit of a look. Maybe we'll chuck her in there just for fun. And then cool. All right. Starting team a little bit. Looks like we may have to go 1 less in the midfield, which I'm okay with at the moment. It will allow us to fill her out a lot. If you can get a lot of guys scoring 60, I think you'll be okay. And that's the tricky part, just to figure out the rest of the team. But we've got a while to go. AFLW will be starting over the next little bit. So I think it's like August 18th or something. So we'll get a few more practice games and stuff there. Guys, thank you very much for jumping on today. I know it was a bit of a preemptive type dealio. Just wanted to jump on, say hello, keep the tradition going. Maybe we'll get someone like a Corey or have a look and see if we can get some other really big names who know the AFLW scene to jump on. Should be a lot of fun. Guys, if you haven't already, smash that members button if you're interested. We got members live stream tomorrow at 6 with Joe, and then the drive home again on Thursday. Hopefully you guys have avoided at least some of the carnage this year. If not, hopefully you guys, mate, have done a little bit more. So had some injury trades, whatnot. Here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. Hopefully you guys have a good day. And then I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Nah, all good for help. Been doing my AFL. There you go, Corey. Get him on.